Someone says something nice about you. You're really good at this. You did an amazing job. I admire how calm you are. And instead of feeling good, you feel a strange tension inside your chest. Your first instinct is to laugh it off or minimize it. Oh, it was nothing. Anyone could have done it. But later, you keep thinking about it. Not because it felt good, because it felt wrong. So the real question isn't why compliments exist. The real question is this: why does something positive make your brain uncomfortable? If this happens to you, it's rarely just about compliments. It shows up everywhere. When someone appreciates your work, you deflect. When someone says you're talented, you explain it away. When someone thanks you deeply, you feel exposed, almost like a spotlight just turned on, and suddenly you're standing in it. Part of you wants to disappear, because praise creates a strange pressure. Now people expect something. Now you have to live up to that image. So your brain tries to shrink the moment before it grows too big. Psychologists sometimes connect this pattern to something called self-concept consistency. Your brain prefers information that matches how you already see yourself. If your internal story says, "I'm average, I'm still figuring things out, I'm not that impressive," then a compliment doesn't feel like a reward. It feels like contradictory data, and your mind rushes to correct it. But that still leaves an open question. Why would your brain protect an outdated self-image even when reality is better? First, something important. This reaction doesn't mean you're insecure, and it definitely doesn't mean you're ungrateful. In many cases, it's actually the opposite. Your brain is trying to maintain stability. Psychologists know that identity works like a map. Your brain builds a mental map of who you are, what you're capable of, and where you belong. And once that map is drawn, the brain protects it, even if the map is old, even if you've already grown beyond it. Compliments don't just give you praise, they challenge the map, and your brain doesn't update maps instantly, it resists first. Here's where the brain becomes interesting. Your mind runs on something called predictive. In neuroscience, the brain constantly predicts what should happen next. This system is sometimes called predictive processing. The brain compares two things: what it expects and what it receives. If they match, everything feels smooth, but if they don't, you get friction. A compliment can create that mismatch. Your brain predicted neutrality, but suddenly it receives admiration. That gap creates something psychologists call a prediction error, and prediction errors feel uncomfortable. Not dangerous, just unstable. Think of your identity like a thermostat. If the temperature rises too quickly, the system tries to cool things down. Deflecting compliments is that cooling process. You're not rejecting kindness. Your brain is simply trying to restore identity equilibrium. But if that's the mechanism, then the real challenge isn't accepting compliments, it's updating the internal map, and that happens slowly. So how do you actually change this pattern? Not by forcing confidence, but by gently teaching the brain new predictions. Here are 4 ways to do that. 1. Pause before deflecting. When someone compliments you, notice the reflex, that impulse to dismiss it. Instead of responding immediately, take a breath. This pause works because it interrupts automatic defensive habits. In behavioral psychology, habits weaken when the automatic loop is disrupted. Example, someone says, "Your presentation was really clear." Instead of saying, "It wasn't that good," you pause and simply say, "Thank you." Nothing more. 2. Treat compliments as data, not judgment. Your brain reacts strongly because it interprets praise as evaluation, but compliments can be reframed as information. Information about how your actions affect others. Example, a coworker says you explain things clearly. That's data about your communication skill, not a verdict about your entire worth. This reduces the emotional charge. 3. Update your identity in small increments. Identity doesn't change with one compliment, it changes with repetition. Psychologists call this self-schema updating. Small pieces of evidence slowly reshape your internal model. Example, instead of thinking, "I'm not good at speaking," your brain begins shifting towards, "Sometimes I explain things well." Tiny updates, but powerful. 4. Let the compliment exist without arguing with it. Your brain loves debate, but you don't have to respond to every internal objection. Sometimes the healthiest response is simply letting the statement sit, like a note left on a desk. No analysis, just presence. Over time, the brain learns that praise isn't a threat. In the end, compliments reveal something deeper, not your abilities, your internal map. If praise feels uncomfortable, it often means your external reality has started changing faster than your identity. Your life moved forward, but your self-image stayed behind, and the brain is trying to catch up. The solution isn't forcing belief, it's allowing new evidence to slowly redraw the map, one small update at a time. The next time someone says something kind about you, notice the instinct to shrink it, the reflex to step out of the spotlight. But instead of rejecting the moment, just let it pass through you. No performance, no defense. Because sometimes growth doesn't feel like confidence. Sometimes it feels like quiet discomfort, while your mind slowly learns a new version of who you are. And maybe the real reason compliments feel strange is that they're showing you a person your brain is only beginning to recognize.